meet two talented actors, Rukmini Vasanth and Chaithra Achar, who has been garnering attention for their varied roles. The two are going to grace the silver screen for Sapta Saagaradaache Ello sequel, directed by Hemant M. Rao and Rakshit Shetty. Join me to explore the fate of Manu and Priya's love story, the potential hurdles in their path, or is there a hidden villain in their love story? If so, I'm looking at Chaithra.
We don't know.
Yeah, to continue like from my last interview with Rukmini.
Yes, ma'am.
You have been winning hearts as Priya for your portrayal. Definitely, people have been discussing about your role. Even today, they'll be like, I have heard people talking about, ಯಾಕೆ ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ನೆನೆಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಲು ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೀನ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅವಳು ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ಎಸಿಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು.
ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಎಮೋಷನಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ.
Yeah, but what was that, when facing the camera and doing such a role is different. When you watch it as an audience and when you see the reactions, what were the best reactions you got from the audience, if you would like to recall here? And
I mean, in person, ma'am, I've seen varied responses. Tumba ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Like ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು, I recall even your response the first time you saw it. You were so moved by the entire film. But I think ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಏನಂದರೆ the kinds of DMs I've been getting over time. Now, while the film was still in theatres and when we interact with theatrical audiences, theatre visitsಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, there was a lot of in-person moments, but people are quite overwhelmed, so they're not able to say too much. They just tell you how much they love the film. But OTT al nodbekadre, there's a lot of nuanced responses that are coming in. So I think there have been incredible responses that have been coming in. But one that I read most recently that moved me so much was somebody thanked me for becoming an actor. Which wow. when you hear a response like that, you're just so
speechless.
Because you hope to be accepted by the audience to a certain degree, and you hope, you pray for certain kind of characters to come your way, because it has to be a confluence of many factors. Olle patra, olle director, olle co-star to give you support while you do that. You have to be at the top of your game at that point to be able to do it. But to have an audience member come and thank you for doing a character is breathtaking. So that has been one of my happiest moments.
Yeah, but coming to your character as Priya, we suddenly think like, the long wait, the patience you had, you go and come, and, in and out of jail, and suddenly you lose hope.
Yeah.
But again, there is a change when we see Priya and Manu in the end. What is the future of you with Manu? Like, if you have to ask you.
The future of Priya and Manu is Sapta Saagaradaache Ello side B. Kindly come and watch in theatre.
Usually, if you have heard cassettes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಎಲ್ ಫುಲ್ಲು ಒಂಥರ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಸೈಡ್ ಬಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಂಥರ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಸೆಟ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ
ಡ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಶೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಅಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಟು ಸೈಡ್ ಬಿ. And imagine if that is also happening, and new stories is also happening. I am coming, so many other characters are coming. So why will they all come? If there's so many people coming, you can expect some drama for sure. So I think, it's going to be dramatic.
But one letter, did that change the whole perspective about love for you?
No, so this is a grouse I have with multiple people. I would like to address the audience. So many people who are like, Priya, yaak hodlu, yaak bitpitlu, list build up tagondu. One thing I have to say is, and one thing that Hemant and I had intense discussions about before we shot this portion, is that Priya's feelings are very strong. Obviously, she's going through, we established through the film that she's getting on 2 buses, ashtu apart from the mental trauma of coming back to him, ಈ ಥರ ಅವನೊಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ she distances herself, right? And then ಒಂದು she makes a decision, she comes back into his life, and she makes that kind of commitment to go whenever she can, ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಹೋಗಿ, she gives up on her own studies, she changes her life in order to be able to support what's going on, to be there for him. The thing that, in my opinion and in my performance with my directions from Hemant, was that she is in it as long as he is in it. And at a one moment alli Manu barala. ಅವಳು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾಳೆ ಜೈಲ್ಗೆ,
ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಮನು ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಹರ್ ಸಡನ್ಲಿ ಹರ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ರಶ್ಡ್. ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲವ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ವೆನ್ ಹೀ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಅವನಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, 10 ವರ್ಷನೂ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ,
ಅವನೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಅವನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮನು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಜೀವನ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಜೀವನನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಫಾರ್ ಹರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ she becomes suicidal. We show her at the top of that building. She doesn't know how to live life without him. So the reason she gives up on that relationship is because she thinks he's already given up on that. He's already given up on that relationship because she has nothing. She doesn't know ಅವನ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನೇನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅದೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳಿಗೆ. ಅವ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಲಿಟರಿ ಕನ್ಫೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. She is completely cut off from him. He's also doing it for her betterment. She keeps going to meet him even after getting that letter because she's like, ಅವ್ನು ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ.
ನನಗೆ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನನಗೆ ಕಥೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಲೈಕ್ she at one point she's there, she wants to kill herself, and the next scene she is getting married. I think it almost looked same for me. Yeah. Like difference illa avaliga adralli
suicidal go
it's very it's very that for her. So difference ildirbekadre adu samrama agak sadhyane illa. She is not taking that decision because she wants a happy life. It's just that it doesn't matter.
No, but I'm really glad we're getting to like talk about this because a lot of people have been asking ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ವೆಹಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ಶಿ ಸೇಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ವರ್ಷ ಆದರೂ ಕಾಯ್ತೀನಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಅದು ನಿಜ. ಬಟ್ ಮನು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋವಾಗ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಶಿ ನೆವರ್ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ದಟ್ ಮನು ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಟು ಅ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಶಿ
ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ.
ರೈಟ್, ಟು ಅ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಶಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹರ್ ಮದರ್, ಹಂಗಾರೆ ನೀನು ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ? You could have married someone.
No, there are points where really, that perfect mother and daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, the climax, when we all thought, okay, over, Priya and Manu are splitting and over all that, you come into the picture. And just then we see Manu and Priya getting together and you are there. How will your presence help Manu and Priya's relationship?
I would not, like, I don't want to give away this information where ನಾನು ಇವ್ರ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಾ ಬರಲ್ವಾ, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಇವ್ರ ಲೈಫ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮನುನ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೌ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್. ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್, ಲೈಕ್ Manu is already flawed and he's coming with a lot of baggage, and he has so many things in his head already. Be it about a relationship or about his life. I don't know if he's, he has that zeal to live munde. Nan gotilla, audience ku gottiralla. So I'm also that person where I have had so many difficult situations in my life, and I'm also living my life oble, and I'm strong. But ee tara ibru flawed people meet ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವರಿಬ್ರು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರಾ, ಎನಿಮೀಸಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಳು ಏನೋ ಮಲಿಷಿಯಸ್ ಇಂಟೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ. ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಮೀಟ್, they definitely have a chemistry, but what is that chemistry is what side B will define.
Yeah, and I think even the trailer at the end of side A, it is kept neutral enough so that you don't know where it's going to go, but you know it's going to be significant.
Correct.
But ad yav route tolata we don't know yet, right. Which I think is going to be a very gratifying journey for the audience to
you have given a brief about your role as Surabhi, but I always think, are you the villain of this between Manu and Priya?
I don't know.
Is there a potential triangular
like that? I'm not talking about the permutation and combination that we are doing in the film, but all I can say is all three of them are just so beautiful. Like these three characters, you'll be so empathetic about them by the end of the story that even if they're right and wrong in their positions, you will still want to advocate for them.
But I always like the way the character developed in the end. That was a crucial climax. Like it was like, for me it was the end. We wanted to know what will happen, and she comes into the picture and like.
No, but I have to say, I mean, I can't talk much about the character, but Chaithra's performance in Side B is an absolute firecracker. I think it's again, I keep trying to not mention
give away
about
much
the story, but the way that she has filled life into this one role. You know these characters on paper. Sometimes I think about what it is an actor. Sometimes I think if a character is well written, an actor can't really add that much. But when you see a role like Surbhi and you see what an actor like Chaithra can do for a role like Surbhi, it's incredible to see the kind of electric, the electricity pouring out of that character is something really beautiful to watch. So the audiences can look forward to that.
So I must say, like how Priya has, I've seen, all of you have seen side A Priya, but how side B Priya transforms Annodo, like it is like North and South Pole, but she's done it so beautifully. You'll still fall in love with her.
Have you watched the side B and you have created?
No, we have. And with respect to how the characters have transformed themselves also, no? Like how he's become this and she's become something there. And so many people, the other characters also, most of them will carry forward. So, yellaru no, I wish we could like tell so much to you, ma'am, because as story there's so much more to it. Like side A was wow, yes, but side B is something else. So it doesn't come from a place where like, our baby is beautiful. It's not that. We've already seen one version of it. Like we've seen a part where there's established story, and to ಅಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ and still keep it very relevant, interesting and engaging.
That's my next question, because you are coming into the picture where the story is already established.
Correct.
And there are certain sector of audience who are already waiting.
Correct.
So for Chaithra, you've already...
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because like you'll never know how Surabhi is taken in that story. Like, if you have a favorite, actor and he's getting married, you'll be like, I hate his wife. No, Papa, she has nothing to do with all this. So you'll never know if, people, who they will take sides with, Manu, Surabhi or Priya. But it is so difficult to come into an establishment like that and then, have, give your piece of heart. And Hemant keeps saying, everybody is giving a piece of heart and it's a collection of so many, pieces. So it's becoming that. And to see what all pieces that we have to offer, like side B is the story you have to watch.
Just going back to side A, I like the way you handle the on-screen chemistry with certain characters. It's not about just with Manu, even your mother. The way you play what did you think? How did you go about this particular scenes, especially when?
Ma'am, I think half the job is done when you have phenomenal actors like that. Like working with Pavitra Lokesh ma'am was, she's an incredible performer, and she's one of those stalwarts who, there's this breed of actors that's the switch on, switch off actor. You don't have to do any warm up or anything. Bandhi Takshana, they know what the notes are. They'll have a 2-minute discussion with the director and then they're just on. So working with an actor like that always helps you. You bounce your energy off them, and you just need to be at the top of your game, because you are a warm up. I'm a warm up actor right now at this stage in my career. So I think when you work with exceptional actors, half the job is done. But ma'am is also extremely giving. Pavitra
Because you have very limited character, but especially your interaction is only with Manu and mother.
So again, with good writing also, when the writing is very to the point and prati one dialogue indanu kate mundvarstara. It's not, none of the writing is indulgent. None of it is just talking about the weather or establishing things. Everything pushes forward either the narrative or makes the character deeper. So if the character says one dialogue, Achyutana says one dialogue in his first scene, I think he talks about his eyesight. He's like, hatra irodu chanaga kanisate, dura irodu nange kanisalla. That's telling you something about him and foreshadowing what he's going to become.
Right.
So with exceptional writing like that, you just need to find the subtext. You find the subtext, find a way to communicate the subtext. You're working with an incredible team anyway, they'll do the rest.
Like, there'll be a lot of interactions. Even when we talk to our friends or somebody is close, suddenly they come up with a love story or something. Have you heard a kind of love story? What kind of love stories do you hear? Because this is a romantic drama, I thought, like, do you hear anything like this?
Yeah,
Or come close to it?
you know, like college love stories or office love stories. Like we met in the office, we have that very secret, our HR shouldn't know kind of a love story, and then later all of a sudden we announce that we are getting married, kind of a story, and our parents' love story.
Yeah.
And though sometimes even if they are arranged marriage happening there exists another kind of love story where they're trying to get to know each other. Probably it's in a very arranged setup, but later they'll end up knowing each other in a certain way, and there's exchange of letters before getting married. The other day we were just talking about how our parents met and what was happening. So it's nice to know how their generation loved and what their, now we have texts and messaging or whatever, we are Bumble and all of
Do you
that.
think the period, the set of Sapta Saagara and now, isn't that time is good? Do you think? Because
I mean,
you're
the
seeing-
perks, I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
I think each time frame has its own, pros and cons probably.
But the nation wants to know whether both of you are single.
Gosh.
We have to keep it just like that so that people should keep guessing and not stop sending I love you messages.
DMs
Barta nearly.
Every day.
Every day.
You
We don't want to
enjoy
disappoint them. But yeah, definitely, like a lot of love stories like that we do hear.
Yeah, definitely. We hear a lot, and it's people love talking about love, no? It's very sweet to hear it. There are a lot of Instagram accounts also. There's this one Instagram account called Meet Cutes. It's just one dude in New York. Road if he sees people who look like a couple, he'll say, "Excuse me, are you a couple? Can you tell me how you met? What do you like about her? What do you like about him?
Right.
In the years you've been together, what is your what are your hopes for the future?" But it's so sweet to watch it.
Right.
On 30 seconds you feel one,
Oh, they're so cute. They
But
bet like
those are all candy floss. Illi emotions. That's it.
ಇದು ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡೀಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ
ರೀಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಇತ್ತು ನೋಡೋದು ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿ ಫ್ಲಾಸ್
ಅದು
ನಾವು ಒಂದು
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೈಡ್ ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
ಫಿಲ್ಮಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
But basically, in a love story, you like the sad ending or the happy ending?
happy ending
Happy ending, please.
Happy ending.
Yeah.
happy ending.
So, do we see something like that?
Oh, that's very well asked question, ma'am. I like how you tried.
We would like to answer this after the premiere.
Yes. After the premiere, after we have
After the release of the film.
Yeah, 2 weeks after, if we do a roundup interview,
Yes, we'll do.
Answer ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
But definitely people will be happy about watching a film like this. That's all we could say.
Yeah.
You're not going to give up.
No.
Don't give away anything, ma'am.
We've been instructed on how. Like nothing.
Yeah, if you can see one red light, that's a sniper. Hemant is positioned.
Hemant is there somewhere.
ನಾವು ಕತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
Shoot.
Your opinion when only side B of Sapta Saagara getting a pan India release and not side.
I think, and this is something we had addressed even in Rakshit as our producer had addressed in our side A promotions as well, is that you don't have to intend for all films to be pan-Indian. Some films
Becomes.
take you,
Yes.
they take the team along. It becomes a pan-Indian sort of sensation. And I think we've been lucky in that the story of side A has felt so universal to so many people. I think that's because it's an experiential film. The specificity of the plot does not necessarily have to be relatable, but the emotions within it are extremely relatable.
Right.
So the fact that it's made waves, across India, across South India, has meant that side B can now have that kind of impact, which I think is beautiful. So it's fine. People have watched it on OTT. Perhaps they did not have the opportunity, but I'm hoping that experience of watching it on OTT and feeling a little something missing will urge them to theatres to watch side B.
Yeah.
This will be your first pan India release. Multiple in multiple languages.
Toby released in Malayalam,
Malayalam, okay.
but probably on the OTT, I think they probably will do it in all languages. But yeah, otherwise, like all 4 South Indian languages, this is the first time. And like she said, like it became that film which people wanted it. Like we want, like there's this Hindi audience who say, what did we do? Like why are you not releasing it in our language? So it feels nice to read messages like that because we know that it has reached so many people, and they want to watch it in their language, and now we're happy to cater to all of them. And it just happened. We didn't want it to, but they wanted it, so that has more value than we doing it deliberately. So
It's very organic. It's been very organic, the growth of it.
I know like what Rukmini, when she spoke last time, she gave us some like anecdotes of what happened behind the scenes and sets and all. I want to know from Chaithra, because you have first time you're working with Rakshit Shetty.
Yes.
Though you know.
It's always like with working with stars or actors who are well known and who are established, it feels like you know them already. They might not know us. You watch their content. The first time when you meet them, it's like, I know this man. I know your favorite color, blue color, no? Like that. So we watch so much content of them. It feels like you already know that person. So, but with respect to Rakshit, when I met him like for our workshop thing, Hemant, especially Hemant. Like first, I have to tell Hemant, when we did the look test, he was the one who made it. His working style was, very little, glimpses of that was seen there, because I was doing certain scene, like an audition scene in a certain look, and then that's exactly how he also reacted on sets. Like later did I know that he is this person. Because that day also, he saw me do something, and then he's just happy. And when you see him smile like that, you know that scene was, right. That's exactly how he behaves on set also. He's like, that he's loving that scene. So that connection happened, and you already love the way he works. And then you come to, this workshop where you meet Rakshit, and he already, he's there. Like he never gave that, people probably tell he is very reserved, he's not talking. We never saw anything of that sort, by the way. So he's just there, he's he's speaking, he's making fun, he's pulling legs, and he was just there. So it felt like I met some, with respect to being funny and making fun, it felt like I met some senior of mine from college. So that instant connection, it just broke the ice, and we started off. But like how they did to build the chemistry, like they were supposed to have they had to do all that, because the story begins in a way that we know that they've been in relationship like already. But here, me and Rakshit, for us, we didn't have anything of that sort. We just wanted to know each other, like as people. Because you'll know why when you watch the performance, because our characters are placed. So when you watch our performances, you know why both of us should understand Rakshit and Chaithra separately is important. So that was very clear. So we kind of that chemistry was very nice. So we became familiar with our personalities, and that resonated on set. So on set, it never felt like these are new people. I met Rukmini, and first day I was like, I like this girl. Like I want to know more about her. And it's very rare that you want to be that good friend of a co-star. Most of the time it's like you want to just stay in your van and then just do your work and come back. Here, Hemant is like, you guys just go back. Like, let us just work. We were already together. So it's like that. Like this is that set where you don't want to go sit in your caravan. You want to see what is happening. You want to see Rakshit perform, Hemant direct, Advaita do his work, and Rukmini perform. I don't think whenever both of us were on set, I wanted to be in my van. I wanted to just see her perform. I wanted to see Rakshit perform. So it is just like that. And I loved every single. I remember it is just 2 days. We know that it is going to end like the last day of shoot, and both of us is like, it's 2 days. We are going to miss this set. We are crying already, thinking that it will end.
That says that you both share the screen.
Yes. No, not necessarily. I can be on the set and still not be.
Adhe one location.
Same location. We're doing something. We are. Jugaad can happen on set, so that is also there. So all these experiences, it felt like a learning institute while you're having a lot of fun. So it's great. It's a great feeling to work with technicians and actors like this, and I just feel very privileged that I got to work with them.
Okay, if coming from a female perspective, if not for Hemant, if a lady director, if you had behind the camera, what changes would you like to bring in Sapta Saagaradaache?
Actually, you know what? Nothing.
That's
Hemant is very, very sensitive. Like, you can go talk anything to him. Even if you like, Hemant, you know what, my bra strap, he will never judge you. He is there, he knows, he doesn't come from a place you're like, oh my god, how can you speak to me like that? He's never that. So we are at a very safe space.
Yeah, even for instance, if you take side A nalli, there's a little bit of intimacy. So the way in which we approach that, the way in which we discuss, you know, what our boundaries are as people,
Yes.
what we're comfortable with,
Comfortable
what we're not
with, not.
comfortable with, all of those things he's very, very, very
More than
conscious
us,
about.
yeah, he is very
Extremely about your
protective
comfort
of-
on set and you know, your just generally your comfort on set. And I think that, I mean, it's an interesting question, but I believe that with directors like Hemant, they don't approach things from a very gendered perspective.
Yeah.
He approaches it from an emotional perspective. So whether you're a man or a woman,
Emotions are the
directing, the emotions are the same. So he comes in from that zone. He will always ask you as your contribution as a woman, for your perspective as a woman. Kelvondu sati he's asked both of us.
Yes.
ಈ scene ನಾವು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, do you think as a woman does that ring true to you?
Right.
This dialogue.
Yes.
Which I really respected.
Yes.
It's not something that he was just saying. So he's thinking about that, but he's such a sensitive director and person that oftentimes you don't have anything to add. You're just like, yeah, that's chill.
I know, and it's very comfortable to share anything with him. Like he gives that space, so we don't mind discussing anything, you know, of that sort. And even if it is uncomfortable, it's like, should I talk to him? Then
That's
we'll be
not
like, hey,
even
it's
really a
Hemant. Like, we can
question,
tell
yeah.
him. It's okay.
Which also leads to a very lovely working environment.
Yeah.
Because you know that, and SSC is intense. Side A nalli ellaru nodidare how intense it is, whether it's, you know, the intimacy or the love between the two characters, or the trauma, the pain, the separation.
Yeah.
Side B is that on steroids.
Multiple. Good. Yeah. Said well.
So to have that kind of comfort with the captain of your ship is
Right.
incredible.
Important.
I don't know whether to ask Rukmini or Chaithra, but
At this point,
Priya, I know. Priya, because I know more of Priya, I don't know more of Surabhi now. But still, if not for Akshit Shetty, who else could fit the bill of playing Manu?
Manu, I can't think of anybody. He is Manu.
Neither can I.
There's so much.
Then you should ask someone else. You shouldn't ask Surabhi and Priya this.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think
you
we
would
are-
have thought, okay, if I
No,
have this hero.
no. After watching what he's done, I don't think I can imagine anybody in that
He's
place.
put his heart, soul, lung, kidneys, everything into it. There's
Like
no
everything, ma'am. You might think this is exaggeration. You'll know why. You'll know that side A Manu is different. Side B is a different person from the physical appearance to what he emotes.
Forget his body, forget his hair, forget the scars on his face. Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
Those eyes are a different person's eyes.
Okay, now because I'm an audience, like I am like you when it comes to watching side A and side B. Okay, but now I also know side B's story.
Yeah. Okay.
So all the changes that we made were entirely based on Hemant's descriptions, and his descriptions of how this character may have changed over the 10 years. What he gave me a list of events that have happened in those 10 years. 10 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅವಳ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ, and down to that obviously I had choices to make of, you know, is this going to make Priya, for example, a more talkative person or a quieter person? Is this going to ಅವಳ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ, is there going to be more light, or is something gone quiet in there? You get to make all these choices, and those, whether it's side A or side B, both, I had been making those choices in conjunction with Hemant. I'd go to him and be like, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದಾ, and he'd be like, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆದರೆ ಈ ಸೀನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗಾಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ, so maybe it won't make sense. So it's been a very collaborative conversational space. We'll meet at the table, throw a bunch of ideas and pick out whatever is nicest of the lot. So
Also the music, the soundtrack has been doing really good.
Great. Oh my god, now we've been hearing bits and pieces of whatever is happening on side B, and I think we like side B more than side A. So it's like side A is amazing, but now side B is getting, you know, all.
No, and I really think now side A promote madbekadre, there was something that they used to say a lot, is that side B is like rock and roll. So, you know, if for the audience members, if side A was like a ghazal, side B is like
rock and roll.
is grungy hard rock.
Yeah.
Will you get back to singing? Side B.
Side B ಕಥೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು.
Standard answer. Reply. The anticipation for this love story has created a lot of curiosity, and does it add pressure as actors and as about the film?
In my perspective, luckily we're done shooting. Now if we're not shot side B, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ pressure ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. But ಮುಗ್ದಿದೆ. Edit almost like the edit is done basically. Okay,
so
dubbing is done. We can't do anything at this point. And I think personally, from my experience, the faith in Hemant's handling of the entire thing, and you know Charan's music, Advaita's camera work, the faith in this team is so strong that I'm like, cool. You know, I think that expectations will be met.
Yeah, but that pressure, it's not pressure, but like it shouldn't create unrealistic expectations for us. Like like always there is a possibility and it not happening. So you should, you know, Hemant always says it's a you know, you should go with an open mind. You are not sure, it's not a sure shot. Like you can be successful, you can't be successful. So I'm not going with that. I'm only confident about the fact that I've made a film that I wanted to make. So that we were like, we've made like maximum what we could give, we've given. Even ivaga ನಾವು ಡಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಸೀನು ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ನಾವು we should have done something different, but ಅದು ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. But we've tried maximum.
But I remember somebody telling me that is a sign that you're growing. ಅದು ಒಳ್ಳೆದು. So if you see a performance you're like,
then you're like done.
It means you're stagnant. When you watch it and you're like, it's good. It means that your abilities
to you want to change and improve.
It's good. You've improved. You've grown.
Did you feel that when you were watching?
100%.
Of course.
100%.
I was ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸೀನು. Then you know before dubbing, ಹಿಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೇನಿದೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಸೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. So that always happens, but like she said, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಮುಗ್ದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ we need not shoot for something, like ಆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ
there's anticipation, there's excitement to see,
be curious to know how it is received, but otherwise we've done our job.
But in general, you both have been really caught attention of the audience. Like people talk about your acting. That's very important. And you also have good lineup of projects. Like, so do you think, is it important, you know, in today's current scenario of cinema where there's a lot of competition, how do you go about choosing roles, and is it just that gut instinct or luck that's playing?
I think luck has a huge part to play in it. At least in my career, I know that good luck and bad luck on a global scale like COVID. That'll
You'll never forget that.
I will never forget it. I don't think anyone of our generation will. Right. But that is luck of one form. You know, Hemant reading a DM from me is luck of another form. Me delivering on that day of audition. I could have been really bad on that day of the audition and it may not have happened for me. So there is luck, but I think also when you start, actually maybe I don't know how to answer this question.
Another thing is we both have manifested this project in the same way. Like one day we were sitting having lunch and then we were like, you know what, 2019 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ ಬಿಟ್ರು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. She's like, you know what, I also saved it. Then she's like, I wanted to, I saw her poster when it came out. I was like, I somehow knew the photographer who shot her, and I was like, you know what, I don't think I can be in the film now that there's already a lead. Let's just shoot something very similar to this. You know, we'll recreate this look. She's like, okay, I'll do Aishwarya. So then later, cut to, she shot my poster. I was like, oh my god, this is, I'm in tears.
Things are just meant to be.
Yeah, just meant to be.
No, but with regard to your question about how we choose roles, for me, a lot of it is the gut instinct. And in general, it's the flow of the entire story, not just my character. Because the audience is not going to watch my character in isolation.
Right.
So it's how we fit into the whole thing. And I think it's a gut instinct.
Because you have one with Vijay Sethupathi now, then Bhairati Ranagal. Then
no, and some of these, ma'am, are just the opportunity to work with legends.
Yeah.
You get a film where they're like, you know, you'll be playing opposite Shivarna, you're like, where do I sign? So you don't have to think too hard about a couple of these things.
Right.
But there is a huge element of luck in it, because you can't always go out, you know, reaching out for work. Most of the time work reaches you. Because make us think that you will be a right fit, and that you can't control. You can't be like, okay, I'll change my face. Do I fit your role now?
Right. And for me, I'm very selective of what I do because there's like from my first film, I've been very I don't know where where I want to get, but I know what kind of work I want to do. I want it to be remembered. I don't know if it's going to be a hit or a flop, like how you say how many people, depends on how many people come to the theatre and how much business it makes. But from my end, I should be able to deliver my best. And with all the characters that I've chosen so far, or probably that has chosen me, I've just been very, very selective of that, and I want to. It's not it's also not like, okay, you know what, I'm only going to do these things, but just that somehow those scripts excite me more than other normal scripts. So if when the narration is happening and then I can imagine myself doing it already, then I'm like, you know what, I'll do it. They'll be like, okay, there's this, we have constraints that they're like, you know what, I want to do this. Like, let's just figure everything else later. That comes into the picture. So I'm very selective of that, and I want my filmography to be of a certain kind, so that when I look back, I should be able to say, you know what, like there I did this and that was my process. This I did this. This was my process.
Because that's the only thing you can control, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing in my and like, for example, when someone asks, what if you get a glamorous role? I'd be like, I will still do it. I will still make it a point that it will be a value addition to my filmography, where I will say, you know what, that abs that you see, I had to work so much for it. So yes, I worked hard for it. So I want to be that actor. I want to be that person who will do that homework every single film, no matter how many films down the lane. I want to be that actor, be there, put that hard work, and I have that zeal, and I want to be doing it. Like,
no,
that's how I am.
As an audience member, like, you're a total chameleon. In the sense that, when I look at her work, I look at something like Gilki, that was cerebral palsy, right?
Yes.
That takes so much homework.
Even Toby.
Toby. I mean, see, Toby, in a certain sense, Gilki really moved me. I have not watched the film, obviously, but of what I have seen, glimpses online, the kind of, forget what's going on in here and what's going on in here. Emotionally, mentally, the kind of prep she has to do as an actor, she will do, because she's that kind of actor. Physically, she has to learn things. And when you're manifesting a certain kind of, when there's a certain, something like cerebral palsy, when you have to show it, you have to do your research. You have to be mindful and respectful of the kinds of lives that you're portraying. That takes a lot of empathy, which will help your performance. Right. So when I see an actor doing something like that, I think it's so incredible to seek out those kinds of opportunities. I mean, I don't know if they seek you out or you seek them out, or it's a combination of both.
Yeah. Like that, they somehow come to me and that excites me,
and then you take it on.
Yeah,
you put in all that work and make it happen.
Yeah, and I want to. Then it becomes like one, that hata banbidutte ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, like I have to crack it somehow, but I don't know. I'm not this student of any film school. I wish I was. I knew, some formula that I could get into it.
Have to. Okay, when you do stuff like Tallada and Gilki and Toby,
thanks. So yeah, that I want to like be that person, do the homework. I'm that studious behavior never goes out of you. Tara, I've become. So I like that.
I don't say what message, I say what feelings will audience take back with Sapta Saagaradaache sequel.
Love,
definitely. And I think a certain kind of full circle kind of feeling. Andre, we've left people inside A, we've left them on a cliffhanger. To a certain extent, the story has found a completion. You know that Manu is serving out his sentence. You know that something has happened in Priya's personal life. Adre, we've left that relationship on a cliffhanger. So the satisfaction of seeing that through to the end, I think, is something that we can definitely assure the audience of. And obviously the extreme feels brought on by Charan Raj's music. I think that's,
and the cinematography, like it's going to be a visual treat. So advando yellow, like you can see,
you will have a lot of feelings, right? Lots of feelings you will have.
I think everything, performance, so direction, you'll be like, yaudra ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ.
And another thing is, like, Side A we've seen a lot of different characters. And something that moved me so much was after watching Side A, a lot of people would message me and be like, please tell me we see more of Gopi sir's character. Yes,
Right.
you do.
Yes.
Lots of him.
Lots
And
of him.
every second he is on screen, he is magic, for
Right,
example.
right.
You see more of Soma's character.
Ramesh
You
Arvind,
see
yes.
a bunch of fresh new characters coming into the story that just elevate it completely. So not only do you get more of what you've seen inside A,
And also like performance wise, Rameshchandra sir performance also transform ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸೈಡ್ ಬಿಗೆ they've all the range they've just shown.
I really hope that after Side B, everyone goes and watches Side A, then Side B immediately.
Correct.
ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮ್ಯಾರಥಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು Side B ನೋಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ just run back home, watch Side A in the morning, lunch ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು watch
Side B. You'll be like, worth it.
Kept everything under wraps.
I think so, successfully.
Yeah, successfully.
If you want to say something to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, Surabhi is also going to get a lot of love for all of you, and you can expect so many emotions that she goes through. Adina nimge experience ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೋ, and like I said, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ Manu ಪರವಾಗೂ ನಿಲ್ತೀರಾ, Surabhi ಪರವಾಗೂ ನಿಲ್ತೀರಾ, and Priya ಪರವಾಗೂ ನಿಲ್ತೀರಾ, and if you have to defend, I think ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಯಾಕೆ ಅವಳು ತಪ್ಪಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾಕೆ ಇವನು ತಪ್ಪಿರ್ಬೋದು. So you will all advocate for all of these characters, and that's the beauty of it. That's how well it is written by Hemant and Gundu Shetty, and all that I can say is Surabhi has something beautiful to offer. If you want to know what I will be doing in the film, and Hemant has just gotten the best that he could from me, and I loved every single day of my work day on set, playing Surabhi, being Surabhi, and I can't wait for all of you to just come watch her.
You want to hear from Priya too? So if you have to say something.
I don't know what to say, ma'am.
You'll fall in love with Priya again.
Yeah, you'll follow her. You'll follow her on her journey. I mean, I'm extremely grateful for the kind of love that Priya of Side A has gotten. So I hope that people keep up with her journey on Side B. They understand her more. I hope that through the writing and through my performance, you understand more of why she made certain choices, why she functions a certain way, and how I think it's just a very beautifully written story in that. And a lot of people have said this about Side A also, and not just about the primary characters, about secondary characters who also show up, is that ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. At no point can you really say definitely you get down. You understand everyone's motivations, and the beauty of working on a gifted script like that is that you understand everybody. You understand and sympathize entirely with Surabhi. When Surabhi feels that sadness, you feel that sadness because you know everything that's happening in her life, just as you did with Priya and Manu in the first half.
Right.
So brace yourselves. It's going to be an amazing ride in theatres.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was lovely.